seated. So before we get going, I see the monitors are on. Is there testimony that's going to be video testimony or?
I believe Attorney Kamek is going
Good
to
afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Okay.
use some of the videos.
There's some short bits of one of the squad video, and the other Officer Constance's body cam
Okay.
is relevant. It's not lengthy.
Sure.
And actually, before you start, I'm going to pare down my motion some.
Okay.
So I had a chance to really review it.
Okay.
What I think is contested issues.
Okay.
So when the court's ready, I can.
Sure. I just wanted to. I know the last time we had video, there was some issues. So, were you able to?
Looking good so far. That's my laptop.
Okay. All right. That's what I.
I'm a dinosaur in technology.
Sure.
I think we're going to be okay.
Okay. All right. Very good. And so, yeah, before we get started, you had.
Sure. Sure, I did get a chance to talk to the city attorney. So the original motions I filed really focus on three different issues. Number one is whether there was probable cause or reasonable suspicion for the traffic stop itself. The second was challenging the detention, the continued detention of Mr. Keeman. And the third ultimately was whether or not Officer Constance had probable cause to arrest him.
Okay.
I was reviewing this, getting ready for these. I want to withdraw that third part.
Okay.
Which is the probable cause for arrest.
Okay.
What I want to focus on is the actual traffic stop and also the detention that went from the stop until Officer Constance and his backup arrived back at Mr. Keeman's vehicle to ask for field sobriety test.
Okay.
So those are really the timeframes I'm looking at. The traffic stop, the conversation that took place there, the officer going back to his car, and then coming back to ask Mr. Keeman to do field sobriety tests. So
Okay.
those were the real issues in this case, and I think
Sure.
if we focus on those, it's important.
Okay. Very good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Let's get situated here. And how do I pronounce your last name?
It's Kamek.
Kamek?
Yeah,
Okay.
if you're American, it's Kamek. If you're Polish, it's Kmiecz. I'm pretty Americanized, so
Okay.
it's Kamek.
All right. Very good. So as far as the recording, are we ready to go? All right. Very good. So we're here today on a motion, suppression motion filed on behalf of Mr. Clemens. City is here. Mr. Clemens is here. It's Attorney Mr. Attorney Kamek. Is the city ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Very good.
All right, I would call Officer Constance.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you are about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state and spell your name for the record.
Nicholas Constance, Konstanz.
Thank you.
Officer Constance, how are you currently employed?
As a patrol officer,
Is that with the City of Plymouth Police Department?
it is
And approximately how long have you been employed as a patrol officer with the City of Plymouth?
approximately 4 years.
And were you on duty in the city on October 4th, 2025 at approximately 11:43 p.m.?
I was.
And were you out conducting routine traffic enforcement that evening?
I was.
And at approximately 11:43 p.m., where were you located?
I was parked on Western Avenue near Sunset Drive.
And what, if anything, did you observe at that time?
I observed a vehicle come into town from the northwest. It would have been behind where the direction I was parked. I would have been facing the same direction of travel as the vehicle. The vehicle would have pulled behind me and parked approximately 20 yards behind me.
Okay, and did you note anything about the vehicle's speed as it was coming into town?
I noted it was traveling oddly slow.
And after after it parked behind you, what happened next?
After a short time, it then turned back into the roadway to get back out into the same direction of travel it had been going. When it did so, I noted that it appeared to take an extended period of time for it to establish its lane.
Okay, and when you say it took a long time, or a long period of time to establish its lane, what do you mean by that?
I just mean it took longer than it would have than it would have normally. It stuck out to me.
Okay. And at that point, did you begin to follow the vehicle?
I did.
And what did you observe next?
I observed the vehicle to take a right-hand turn onto Park Street. We went south. It then turned left, which would be east onto Franklin, and then another left onto Plymouth Streets, basically going around the block to go back towards Western Avenue.
And did you note anything about the vehicle's speed at this point?
I again noted it to be traveling oddly slow.
Did the vehicle make any stops on any of those streets that it turned on?
It did not.
And so after the vehicle travels essentially in a circle and begins heading back up Western Avenue, did you continue to follow the vehicle?
I did.
And where did it go next?
Like you said, the vehicle did proceed back to Western Avenue and then ultimately come back from the direction it had come from Western, so continuing northwest on Western Avenue, which turns into County Road C, out towards Highway 23.
And did the vehicle eventually merge onto Highway 23?
It did.
And what were your observations of the vehicle as it was merging onto Highway 23?
My observations again were that it was traveling oddly slow. In reviewing the squad video, I observed it to only reach speeds of approximately 45 miles an hour, which was extremely odd to me for a vehicle getting onto Highway 23, which is a 65 mile an hour highway.
And so vehicles merging onto a 65 mile an hour highway, and you determined that the vehicle was going about 20 miles under the speed limit. Is that fair?
Yes.
Did these driving observations, did they raise suspicion to you in any way?
They did.
And why is that?
For the time of night, generally out on the lookout for intoxicated drivers. So just the suspicious driving behavior as far as driving oddly slow with no apparent direction of travel, that raised my suspicions of intoxicated driving.
And once on Highway 23, where did the vehicle go next?
So the vehicle would have taken the next immediate turn south onto Inez Court.
And is Inez Court, is that a dead-end street?
It is.
And is that a residential street?
It is.
And so based on your suspicions, did you initiate a traffic stop?
Yes, the vehicle I was able to get the registration return. The vehicle had returned to Kenosha, so it seemed odd to me again that the vehicle was in this area, the residential areas, with no apparent spot to stop. So yes, that raised my suspicion enough to initiate a traffic stop.
Okay. And upon making contact with the vehicle, were you able to identify the driver?
I was.
And who was the driver?
Driver identified himself as Jeffrey Keeman by Wisconsin driver's license.
Stipulate it's Mr. Keeman who is operating the motor vehicle.
Was there anyone else in the vehicle with Mr. Keeman?
There was not.
Upon making contact with him, what did you notice or observe, if anything?
I immediately noticed red glossy eyes, as well as slowed speech. He seemed to take an extended period of time to answer my questions.
And did you ask Mr. Keeman where he was going that evening?
I did.
And what did he say?
He had said he had been out at Quick Creek Golf Course on a trip with old classmates.
And did you ask him where he was coming from? Strike that. I think you might have just answered that.
Apologies.
Did you ask him if he had consumed any alcohol that evening?
I did.
And what was his response?
I believe his response was a few beers. If I could review, I could confirm.
And so, at that point, with the observation of the red glossy eyes, the slow to respond or answer questions, and the admission to consuming alcohol, Were your suspicions of intoxicated driving heightened at that point?
Yes.
And why is that?
Again, time of night, observation of the driving behavior and the observations at the vehicle just further my suspicions of intoxicated driving.
And I think you already stated this, but based on the driving behavior alone, were you already suspicious of intoxicated driving at that point?
Yes.
And so is it fair to say these additional factors or additional observations sort of confirm those suspicions?
Yes.
And so at that point, what did you request that Mr. Keeman participate or perform field sobriety tests?
Yes.
Based on the defense's withdrawal of the third motion, I think that testimony covers the two remaining motions, so I don't have any further questions at this point.
I would agree.
Very good.
Thank you.
Proceed. Yep.
Also, you testified that you were parked on the side of the roadway on Western Avenue, correct?
That's correct.
Western Avenue is a residential area, correct?
It is.
So in the left lane is the lane of travel, and then where you were parked was a legal parking area. Is that fair to say?
Yep.
I think I answered yes or no for the record.
Yes.
I don't have a stenographer.
No,
That's just we
understood.
get used
No.
to in court, because they have stenographers in the circuit court, so.
I agree.
And there's two white lines, there's a fog line and then there's another line that designates that as a legal parking area, correct?
That would sound correct.
So when you first observed Mr. Keeman's car, came up behind you and it pulled into a legal parking area, correct?
Yes.
And again, that's a residential area, but there's a lot of people coming to and from their homes, parking in that lane, in that parking lane.
Yes.
He said that he stopped for strike that. You testified when you observed him pull up, your words are oddly slow. Is that correct?
Yes.
What's the speed limit on Western Avenue at that park?
At the location I was parked is 25 miles an hour.
Okay. And that's a residential area with a lot of homes.
It is.
And would you agree that when somebody's looking for an address or looking to park, they would be traveling slowly when they're pulling into a parking lane? Yes?
Sure. Yes.
Okay. So you saw this vehicle pull in and park legally for a short time period and then become moving again onto the lane of traffic?
Yes.
Now, you said that you felt that it took an extended period of time for that vehicle to pull over out of the parking area onto the travel lane, correct?
So from the parking lane back to its lane of travel, yes.
Correct. Is there any law or ordinance that covers how long you have to take to pull out of a parking spot into a lane of traffic?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay, so there's nothing illegal about that, correct?
Not to my knowledge.
And would you agree that some people, especially elderly people, may drive slower than people of younger ages?
I would agree.
Was there any traffic coming in the travel lane that gave you any concern about how this vehicle, Mr. Keeman's vehicle, pulled out?
Not that I recall.
Is there any minimum speed limit on Western Avenue?
There's not.
So visitors to a residential area may be there for a variety of reasons. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
They could be stopping to visit people. They could be delivering food, Amazon trucks, correct?
They could be.
And you've been a police officer for 4 years.
Yes.
Would you agree that texting or and driving or using navigation in a moving car is dangerous?
It can be.
And in fact, there's a law against that, isn't there?
Yes.
Okay. I had a couple of exhibits marked. I don't know if we formally marked them.
I did.
Okay, could you hand him the statute?
Yep.
So, I guess I have to mark that one here. So, officer, you're familiar with Wisconsin statute 346.89, inattentive driving, correct?
I am.
So, if you're texting, you're using your phone to text or navigate while you're driving, that's a violation of that statute. Do you agree with that?
I would agree.
And the better practice is if you're gonna send a text or enter navigation input into a computer or your dashboard, is to pull over and do so. Correct?
Yes.
And that doesn't take too long, correct?
For most people, yes.
And that could be a very brief stop like the one you observed.
Could be.
Now, when you talk about Mr. Keeman pulling out, you call it as oddly slow.
Yes.
That's an opinion and kind of a conclusion, correct?
I would say that it's an inference based on my training and experience.
Okay, but I mean, there's no particular speed that any driver has for pulling out of a parking spot. It could vary. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
And again, this is a residential area. Is it dark there? Was it dark when you first observed them?
There are street lamps. It was lighted, dark but lighted.
And again, there was no traffic on the roadway, the travel lane that he interfered with in any way.
Not that I.
So based on that observation alone, you pulled behind Mr. Keeman's vehicle, correct?
Yes.
And you began to follow him, and you actually ran his license plate pretty quickly, didn't
Yes, he would have passed me and I would have been able to see the license plate pretty quickly.
you? At that point, you knew the vehicle was registered in Kenosha because dispatch came back and told you it was registered in Kenosha.
My computer showed me that that was the
Okay.
fact, yes.
And in and of that, that's no reason for you to be suspicious of that vehicle, correct?
Not by itself, no.
Okay. Because, I mean, people visit relatives and friends, correct?
Yes.
I got to have lunch in Plymouth today. It looks like a really nice town, and
Good.
the terrain is very cool.
Great, yeah, well, thanks for joining us.
And people also borrow cars of other people, fair to say.
Yes.
Would you expect somebody who has a car registered in another locality to be not familiar with the roads here?
Not necessarily. Maybe the individual is from the area, or, again, like you said, visiting a friend in the area, something along those lines.
And, you know, that would it be a fair inference to, if someone was registered in a county 2 hours away, they may not be familiar with this area?
Possibly so.
So then you began to follow him, and he negotiated a bunch of turns that you described, basically kind of coming around in a circular way, and
Yes.
coming back, correct?
Yes.
And right before you pulled him over, he merged onto the ramp of Highway 23, correct?
Correct.
And your testimony was when he pulled onto that ramp, you thought he was going slowly, correct? Oddly slowly, as you keep saying.
Yes.
And he said ultimately the speed limit on 23 is 65, correct?
It is.
And he said you observed your squad video. You were kind of keeping pace with him at that point, correct?
Correct.
And would it be fair to say your speedometer was kind of in the upper 40s to 50 miles an hour?
Based on my recollection and reviewing the video, it was mostly in the mid to low 40s, but I'd have to review to confirm.
Okay, well, I'll play it for you in a minute. But as he came up the ramp, he was increasing his speed, correct?
Slowly, yes.
And then he took the first left according to your testimony, right off of that highway, correct?
Correct.
And how much of a distance was that?
I don't know off the top of my head. It would probably have been.
Okay.
I'd
Your
have to
Honor, I'm
guess.
gonna play, I didn't have to mark this an exhibit, I will.
Sure.
I made an extra copy for the court.
Okay.
But it's the first video in, there's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, there's 7 videos on here. So for the record, it's the first video on the discovery I was provided from the city.
Okay.
So I'm gonna start playing it. And to stop real quick, is this a fair and accurate video of your squad camera?
It appears. Sorry.
Yeah, I just stopped it so you could look at it. See.
Yeah. No, it appears to be so. I apologize.
Okay,
You're able to see?
I can see it. If I have to move, I'll come over. Thank you.
okay, I'm gonna hit play on this. Okay, for the record, Your Honor, I'm gonna stop it at a 43-second mark. So actually, in that video, your patrol vehicle speed got up to 50 miles an hour, correct?
From what I could see, it.
It's fair to say that that was a short time frame from the on-ramp to the left-hand turn lane that we turned into.
Yes.
So you necessarily would not want to get up to 65 in that short time frame because he was getting off pretty much right away. Fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. And he also uses turn signals properly in that sequence, correct?
Yes.
And any time during that sequence we just showed you, was there anything you would describe as erratic driving or illegal?
Nothing illegal. No.
The entire time you followed him, from the time you pulled out until the time you actually pulled him over, did you see any traffic violations or anything that broke any state, federal, or local law?
Not to my knowledge.
Now, you were trained in OWI detection and field sobriety tests and that kind of thing, correct?
Yes.
And was that NHTSA, the National Highway Safety,
Traffic.
National
safety.
Highway Transportation Safety Agency, correct?
Yes.
So you're familiar with all the NHTSA training and the handbooks and the books they put out, correct?
I would say familiar with all the things that they do. I was trained and certified in standardized field sobriety testing. Yes.
Okay. And basically OWI arrests, were you trained in that also?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna show you what I have marked as an exhibit. Is this a NHTSA handbook on the visual detection of DUI motorists?
It appears to be so. Yes.
Okay, so this is something that would have been included in your training?
I don't know when this would have been released. I don't know if this was something that I was taught 4 years ago in the academy. I assume that it is much similar to what I was trained in, if not.
Okay, that's fair enough. So on page 4, going into page 5, they talk about, this manual under training talks about things you're looking for in a vehicle that would give you reason to pull that vehicle over. Is that correct? The top part of the page.
Yep. I see where you're talking the bold
Yeah,
pointed,
box.
the bold points with four points there.
Correct.
Okay. Yep. Just let me. Can I review the top paragraph there?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Take your time.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's actually 24 things listed in that training guide, and things that you are looking for concerning, pulling over somebody under suspicion of drunk driving. Would that be fair to say? I did count them, I think I got it right.
And it does say 24 Qs, but they boil them down to these 4, I believe is what it mentions there at the top, but yes.
And those are all indications of indications of erratic driving for motorists that may be intoxicated, correct?
From what I'm seeing here, their behaviors to watch for when suspicious of intoxicated driving.
Correct. Weaving across lanes, straddling the lanes, swerving, wide turning radius, drifting, almost striking a vehicle or other suspect. I mean, I could read them all off, but there's 24 of them, correct?
Including speed and braking problems, yes.
Correct. Is it fair to say out of those 24, the only thing you observed at all your entire time you were following Mr. Keeman was slow speed? 10 miles per hour or less under the limit?
You're meaning as far as OWI related suspicious activity? Is that what
Correct.
you mean?
It's the activity you're trained in to look for, the possibilities indicating people are perhaps intoxicated, the reasons for pulling them over. There's these 24 that are listed by NHTSA. So I'm saying of those 24, you observed 1.
I'd have to see all 24,
But take a look.
but based on what you're saying, I would agree with that.
Okay. And that one you observed says slow speed, 10 miles per hour plus under the limit.
I apologize. Can you
Yeah,
restate
sure.
that?
If you read the exhibit, it's about 10 down, which says slow speed, 10 plus miles per hour under the limit.
Can we get
It's-
on
it's
the
in
same
there.
page here again, please? Which page are you on?
Hang on for a second. It's on page 5.
Okay.
So it
And-
lists the 24 things we just talked about. And the only one you testified he observed was slow speed, which is about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 down in the top. And in parentheses, it says 10 plus miles per hour under the limit. You see what I'm talking about?
One thing I would maybe suggest is, I was in a marked squad car, not positive if I testified to that, but being parked on Western Avenue in a marked squad car, an individual coming up behind me would have been able to observe that I was a law enforcement officer in a marked squad car. So stopping inappropriately in response to an officer would possibly be one that I would note. Again, just another suspicious behavior that led me to suspect intoxicated driving.
Okay, but you didn't know what Mr. Keeman's mindset was at that time, correct?
Correct.
Obviously, so I'm gonna object to that because again, he's testifying as to Mr. Keeman's state of mind, and he can't possibly have known that, so I'm gonna ask that be stricken.
How do you respond?
I mean, I don't think he's testifying to Mr. Keeman's state of mind. I think he's identifying, based on training and experience, that, and certainly consistent with the NHTSA manual, that somebody pulling off or parking or something of that nature when they observe an officer is something that's consistent with what officers are looking for in terms of impaired driving. So I don't think he's saying that specifically about, and maybe some follow-up questions to clarify that are necessary, but I don't think he's saying Mr. Keeman thought that. I think he's just referencing his training and experience for drivers in general.
That assumes the facts, not an evidence, though, 'cause that assumes that him stopping was a response to the officer sitting there. And he can't possibly testify to that because he can't claim that Mr. Keeman said.
No, I'll allow the objection.
Okay. So 1 for sure, in your opinion, maybe 2 of those 24. So when you eventually pull them over, again, he uses turn signals on Highway 25, correct? 23, I'm sorry.
Yes.
And he pulled over properly, he didn't have any trouble pulling over, it wasn't erratic or anything, correct?
Correct.
Then you approached his vehicle, and your first discussion with him, you said, I wanna make sure you're okay. And, he was cooperative, correct?
Yes.
He said, I'm trying to find my way to Plymouth. Siri is taking me all over the place, is what he
Yes.
told you, right?
Yes.
Are you familiar with Siri?
I'm familiar, yes.
Okay, just for the record, what is Siri?
Siri would be iPhones or Apple's technology to assist its owners or the user of the phone.
So it's navigation, trying to get somewhere.
I don't believe Siri itself is a navigation, but it's a way Siri can be used to assist you to get to navigation.
Okay, and he told you he was trying to get to a hotel, correct?
Correct.
And he said that it was the Plymouth Suites, that's what I believe he said.
I believe you're correct, yes.
And there was a hotel that changed names, correct? Did he tell you that also?
I don't believe you told me that, but I was aware that that was the case.
And he said he was following what Siri tells him, is what he told you in that first encounter. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Okay. In your experience, has navigation ever taken you to the wrong place, or taken you on a runaround, so to speak?
In my experience, it's usually my fault, not technology's fault, yes.
But you have heard that.
Yes.
Okay, and you're familiar with I'm sure as you work as a police officer that happens.
Yes.
And often it turns you on a circular route, kind of circles you around and come back. You know, and it does give you bad information, or,
In my experience, again, I would be the problem in that situation, and then I missed a turn or whatever it may be, but it can be, yes.
it usually directs you back around if you missed a turn and come back around.
Yes.
And he was able to produce his driver's license without any problems, correct?
Yes.
And then his insurance, I guess he had an expired card, which is not unusual.
Gottman, yes.
Okay. And one of the things you look for in a DUI situation, OWI situation, is whether a person is fumbling with their driver's license or has trouble finding it or anything. And that didn't happen here, did it?
It is one of the indicators.
Okay. And the question answers were appropriate. He was answering your questions appropriately to what you asked him.
I would say he was answering them appropriately, but taking a normal, more than normal amount of time to answer them.
Okay. This was your first and only encounter with Mr. Keenan ever, would be fair to say?
Yes.
So you don't know what his normal speech pattern is? Is that fair to say?
Correct.
And even people who have what you could describe as a normal speech pattern, that can be affected by various things, right?
Yes.
Like fatigue.
Yes.
And Mr. Keeman told you later that he'd been played 45 holes of golf that day.
Along with drinking intoxicating beverages, yes.
Correct, we'll get to that. But he said that he played 45 holes of golf. And he's an elderly man. Would you agree with that?
I don't know if I call him that. He looks like he's in good shape, but yeah, sure, he's older
He's
than me.
7
Yes.
7 years old.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't mean to step over you. Okay. So again, you wouldn't know what his normal speech was.
I would not.
Okay. You also testified that he had red, glossy eyes, correct?
Yes.
And again, this was your first encounter with Mr. Keenan, so you don't know what the normal state of his eyes are. Fair to say?
I do not know what his eyes look like normally, yes.
Okay. And in your experience, just as years yourself, has your eyes appeared differently at different times?
Yes.
Do you ever swim in a swimming pool?
I have, yes.
Get chlorine in your eyes get red?
Yes.
Okay. So when you say red glassy eyes, that could be for a variety of reasons, correct?
It could be.
Is there anything in your NHTSA training that scientifically links red glossy eyes to alcohol consumption? Is there any
No.
science to it?
Not to my knowledge, I don't know for sure. I have to review the manual entirely.
Okay, I'm not gonna ask you to do that today, but
Thanks. I
anything
appreciate
that
it.
comes to your memory, okay? One thing you did not testify to or note in your reports was an odor of an alcoholic beverage. Is that one of the things that you think is really important when you're taking a traffic stop to the next level, the odor of intoxicants?
It can be another indicator of intoxicated driving, yes.
Okay, and you did not note any in your police reports?
I'd have to review, but I think you're correct.
Yeah, if you want to make sure you can.
I believe that you're accurate in that, in saying that.
And that's something that's very, very common in OWIOS. Would you say that's very common?
It is common. I'd say that sometimes it is often the case that the odor of intoxicants is not detected.
Probably way more than not.
Depends on the individual's sense of smell at the time. It depends on what the individual has been drinking. It depends on many factors.
I agree with that, but generally, probably 90% of the cases.
I would not be able to give you a number on that. I apologize.
And you asked him if he'd been drinking,
I did.
and he said he was at a golf outing with some friends. And it was kind of a reunion, correct?
That's what I got from his statement, yes.
And your testimony here was that he said he drank a few beers.
If I could review exactly what he said, that'd be great.
Yeah, please refresh your recollection.
That would be correct, yes.
Okay, didn't he actually say he had a couple of drinks?
I would have to review the body cam to be sure.
Yeah,
but-
I'm gonna do that just to make sure.
Sure, so the gist of what I'm trying to write in my report is that he had told me he had had some kind of beverages or beers.
Okay, I just wanna make sure it's straight, and we'll play it, that it's correct, and we'll play this clip in just a couple minutes. And he said he started a long time ago, correct?
Yes.
He said he had the last one a long time ago. Did you ever try to frame it more, like, closer in time?
I had asked him this question twice as far as I understand, and that was what he had responded with. I wasn't looking to do a roadside interrogation on him. I was just trying to get an idea of what, when, and where.
I understand. There were no alcohol containers inside the vehicle.
Not on my initial.
And then your backup officer arrived, correct?
Yes.
And you decided to give him field sobriety testing.
Yes.
In the field sobriety testing's purpose is to assess somebody motorist for clues, correct?
Yes.
And those clues help you form an opinion as to whether that person is impaired and should be arrested. That'd be fair to say?
Yes.
Then after the field sobriety test is when you're supposed to make your decision as to whether he's impaired or not. That's fair to say?
Yes, you can make a decision on arrest based on prior to that, but yes, generally you will want.
And that's their purpose, correct?
The purpose is to determine the level of intoxication of a driver, yes.
So on your body cam, when you first spoke with your backup officer, you said, "Dude's drunk." You recall that?
Yes.
And you also said, which is good, because I was really concerned about stopping him. Does that mean you were worried about whether you had enough probable cause to stop him?
I would say that I was on the fence, so I was suspicious of intoxicating driving, but I wasn't exactly sure what was happening, if it was intoxicated driving, or like you said, it could have been trying to find somewhere to go. I would say that would be would have been my concern.
But what you said was, "Dude's drunk," and, which is good, because I was really concerned about stopping him. That's what you said, correct?
As far as I'm aware, yes.
Pardon?
If we,
Yeah, we're gonna play it.
Yep, okay,
We're gonna play it. But that's what you recall saying, and again, we'll play it.
yes.
And you said nothing other than slow, odd behavior, correct?
As far as driving indicators,
That's what you said on video right before you went back to Mr. King's car.
I'd have to review that, but,
Yeah, we're gonna play it, so I'm not trying to put words.
no,
in
I,
your mouth.
yeah,
Okay. And at that point, you went back to the car and asked him, or actually told him to step out for field sobriety testing, right?
yes.
Okay. I just wanna play the part of the video and then that'll be it for my correct,
Okay.
or my cross, I'm sorry. I just gotta make sure I got the right one. I think this is how I go back up. if those TV sound or is on. Computer is showing,
I see, yeah, it looks like, on the video itself, it looks like it's beyond, but I'm not positive. There's a remote.
yes, the computer's showing it's on 100%. I don't know, is there a control to the TV? Again, I'm sorry. Degrees detect.
No,
There's the remote, Greg, is the black one for the TVs?
Oh, that would be it.
It's not showing anything.
It's showing muted right now.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, the mic is muted, is what
Right,
it's
but-
saying.
Yeah, you wanna skip it about 30 seconds, so there's some sound.
yeah, I thought it was gonna happen, but even when it said mic on,
Yeah, right there, and I'll try that.
I'm all over here.
On the bottom right there, Greg, is the, for the computer itself. Does it show?
Yeah, if you wanna jump in, please.
You know, down on the taskbar, does it show it?
Yeah, really low tech, so I mean.
No, that's okay, just making sure.
Yeah, but I mean, you know.
It sounds like it's coming through the laptop.
This way.
Oh.
More radio.
hear that too.
if you go back to that last thing you brought up, I think it might have said mic, something muted,
That mic part, it's just showing my body camera.
right there, is that it?
No, now it's muted.
Yeah, no.
Oh,
it's
now it
not.
is
It's
muted.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, I'm out of ideas.
So I mean, Judge, I can unplug this and have you watch it.
Sure, yeah, that's fine.
It's pretty short. I just wanna make sure that we're being accurate as to what
Yeah.
you're saying you're doing here.
Alright, okay.
I'm trying to get the
Plymouth Suites. Oh,
We can hear it from there if you want to.
Yeah, I'm gonna walk it over your way.
Okay.
I think I just gotta back it up just a little bit. We should be all set here.
find my way to Plymouth. Okay. And Siri's like taking me all over. Okay, well you were in Plymouth here. When you I know. Okay. I'm trying to get to Plymouth Suites. Oh, the Plymouth. And Siri's like, I'm just following what she's saying. Okay. All right. You got your driver's license and insurance for me? Yeah. All right. So what you up to tonight? Oh, we had a reunion. Yeah. Of high school and grade school buddies. Oh, really? Okay. Nice, nice. For a golf outing. Sure. So where were you golfing? Quidbiot. Okay. All right, Jeffrey. So is that 81st Street in Kenosha your current address then? Yes. Okay. Gotcha. So are you from the area, or were you from Kenosha? From Kenosha. Oh, okay. You just decided to come up here for golf, or? Well, we were here all week. Oh, okay. Gotcha. All right. Insurance for the truck, Jeffrey? Should be in here. Okay. Underneath that paper there, I can see it next to that socket there, yeah. Perfect. Thank you. Alright. So this one's a little old, but I trust that you have it, so just make sure you get it updated, okay? So have you been drinking tonight, Jeffrey? A little. A little? Okay. How much do you think you've had since, what time do you think you started? Just a couple drinks. Okay, what were you drinking? Beer. Beers? Okay, what time did you start? A long time ago, actually. Yeah, okay. And then what time do you think you had your last one, though? I mean, it was a long time ago. The last one was a while ago?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. So where were you actually physically drinking? Up at, is there, I don't know, is there a clubhouse up there or what?
No, we rent a house.
Okay, gotcha. So you're staying at the Plymouth?
But I stay separate because I don't like to be with the whole gang.
Okay, alright. Alright, Jeffrey, I gotcha. Well, hang tight. I'll be right back, okay? Yeah, dude's piss drunk. Dude's drunk. Which is good because I was like really concerned about stopping him, but I'm like, at first he like stopped behind me on Western. I was like, alright, what is this guy doing? And then he pulled out and like did a U-turn around the block and then came back out. Was going just slow as it could be, like all the way out here. But really nothing other than like the slow and odd behavior. And then he turned into here, super slow. I'm like, alright, this guy, something's up with this guy.
Just him in there.
Yeah, just
For the record, you're gonna stop it
Okay.
at 4:34. So I just got a couple of follow-up questions.
Okay.
So he did say I had a couple of drinks, not a few beers.
He said I had a couple of drinks and then he clarified beers.
Right, but there, he said a couple, not a few. That'd be fair to say.
Yes.
And it's not illegal to have it, consume alcohol and drive in Wisconsin, correct?
As long as you're not impaired, correct?
Correct. And actually what you said was dude's pissed drunk, then you said drunk.
Yes.
And then again, you expressed concern about, it was good that he was drunk, because you were concerned about why you stopped him.
That's what I said, yes.
Okay. I don't have any further questions, thank you.
Any follow-up?
Yes, thank you. Okay, so, Attorney Kamick showed you the NHTSA manual, and I believe that's page 5, but one of the, and it's called DWI Detection Guide. And one of the things articulated in that manual is speed and braking concerns, correct?
Yes.
And then on that page, page 5, it specifically references speed, references speed, correct?
Yes.
And is it speed 10 miles under or 10 miles over?
10 miles under.
10 miles under. And so your observations of Mr. Keeman that evening, would you say that he was driving at times at least 10 miles under the speed limit?
Yes.
And in fact, the clip of the video that we saw as he's merging onto Highway 23, the maximum speed that your vehicle gets to, I believe, was 50 miles per hour, correct?
Correct.
And so that itself is about 15 miles under the speed limit, correct?
Correct.
And it was much slower prior to that, correct?
Correct.
And when Mr. Keeman was within the city limits, I know you weren't pacing him, but do you have any estimation as to how fast he was traveling on Western Avenue?
Based on my recollection, it was under the 25-mile speed limit. I won't be able to give you a number, but it was under the speed limit.
Okay. And so in your report, you note, and this is on page 2 of the report, let me just find it quick. Quote, I know from training and experience that intoxicated drivers may drive slowly and turn often to avoid police contact. Do you recall writing that?
I do.
And so the slow driving, is consistent with your training and experience, and certainly the NHTSA manual that can signal impaired driving. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. And Attorney Kamek asked you this, but this was your first interaction with Mr. Keeman, correct?
Correct.
You had not met him prior to that evening, correct?
Correct.
And as you were following Mr. Keeman, you weren't aware that he was a 70-year-old individual, correct?
Correct.
You didn't know at the time that he was using Siri to find the Plymouth Suites Hotel, is that correct?
Correct.
And simply based on the registration coming back to Kenosha, is it fair to say there's no way for you to know if he's familiar with the city or not?
Yes.
So the only thing that you know in your mind at that point in time is this vehicle that you're observing is traveling significantly under the speed limit, correct?
Correct.
And then the vehicle makes multiple turns on residential streets, correct?
Correct.
Doesn't stop at any house or doesn't make any stops on those streets, correct?
Correct.
And essentially goes in a circle and then starts traveling back out the way he came on Western Avenue, correct?
Correct. And this would be in the opposite direction of the Plymouth Suites.
And so you're continuing to follow him, and then he merges onto 23, correct?
Correct.
And then once he's on 23, he takes a left-hand turn onto Inez Court, which is a dead-end street, correct?
Correct.
And when you make contact with Mr. Keeman, is it fair to say that you are already suspicious of intoxicated driving?
Yes.
And that suspicion is based on your training and experience, is that fair?
And the totality of circumstances at the time, yes.
And then you speak with him, you notice the red and glossy eyes, correct?
Correct.
And you were asked if there was any scientific linkage between red or glossy eyes, and you stated you didn't know, is that fair?
Yes.
But in your training and experience, are red, glossy, bloodshot eyes, however you want to phrase it, is that, or can that be a sign of impairment?
Yes.
And again, as Attorney Kamek asked, you weren't familiar with what his eyes looked like normally, correct?
Correct.
How could you? That was the first time you'd ever seen him, fair?
Fair.
And then you noted that, he's got slow or delayed responses to your questions, correct?
Yes.
And based on your training and experience, are those types of delayed responses or slow responses, can that be a sign of impairment?
Yes.
And again, you had never met Mr. Keeman, so you don't know how he typically answers questions, correct?
Correct.
And then you asked him if he had consumed alcohol that evening, and he admits that he had, correct?
Yes.
And so, based on all of that's when you decide to request that he submits a field sobriety test.
Yes.
And in that portion of the video that we saw, you did mention to the officer, you did say that you were concerned about the stop. Is that fair?
Yes.
And I don't want to put words in your mouth, but were you concerned about the stop because you didn't necessarily witness any state or local traffic violations?
Yes.
Okay. All right, I have no further questions.
Attorney Kamek?
Just a few things here. Also, the streets that Mr. Keeman drove down when he kind of did this circular loop back, fair to say these streets are pretty dark?
They're all lit, I would say well lit for nighttime in a city, yes.
Is this terrain hilly? Is it kind of hilly terrain? It seems to me like this whole villages or city is kind of hilly.
In that area, I would say it is not hilly. Sorry, to clarify, the streets that he drove are not hilly. Close by there are hills, yes, but the streets that he drove are not.
And ultimately, when he ended up on 23, he was slow coming up the ramp, correct? Your testimony.
Yeah.
But there were no other traffic or anything, correct?
Correct.
That was coming on the highway. And again, he turning off right away. And would you recommend that he got up to 65 in that time frame, that short time frame? And would that be something that would be safe to then make that left-hand turn?
I would say that I'd probably generally be going a little bit faster, just getting onto a highway, but I'd say that'd probably be okay to say, fair to say.
That you would get up to 65 before you?
Probably not all the way to 65, but I would be going faster than 40 to 50 miles an hour.
Now, your testimony is that one of the things drivers do is drive slower to try to elude the police.
So not particularly slower, but they drive slower in an attempt to appear or to not violate any traffic laws.
But isn't your experience that intoxicated individuals tend to drive faster to try to elude the police
They can.
most of the time?
I would not say most or less. I would not have a number for you.
And you knew that the car was registered to Kenosha. So could you draw an inference that this person may not have been familiar with this city?
Could be inferred.
And navigating down residential roads when you observed it?
What is the question?
No, I'm straight there.
Okay.
I don't have anything further,
Very good. Any other witnesses?
No other witnesses, just a brief argument.
Do you have any witnesses?
Your Honor, we don't have any witnesses. I would ask to move that video into evidence.
No objection.
Go ahead with the argument.
So a police officer may conduct a traffic stop when, under the totality of the circumstances, the officer has grounds to reasonably suspect that a crime or traffic violation has been or will be committed. That is the reasonable suspicion standard. Police officers are not required to rule out innocent behavior before initiating a traffic stop. And importantly, in this case, driving need not be illegal in order to give rise to reasonable suspicion. Here, we have Officer Constance observing a vehicle traveling, as he puts it, oddly slowly. The vehicle parks on the side of the road behind him, and then eventually pulls out. The officer testified that it took a significant amount of time for the vehicle to get back into its lane of traffic. The officer then begins to follow the vehicle, at which time the vehicle, still traveling well within the speed limit, makes a series of turns, essentially in a circle, and heads northwest back up Western Avenue. The officer found this suspicious, as the vehicle did not stop at any residences and instead started traveling back in the direction it came from. Then the vehicle merges onto Highway 23 at a very low speed. We saw clips from the video. At times, the vehicle is in the mid-30s. It gets to a max speed of approximately 50. This is again a 65 mile per hour roadway. And then the vehicle takes the first left onto Inez Court, which is a dead-end street. At this time, as Officer Constance has testified, based on the driving behavior, he is suspicious of impaired driving at this point already. He testified that based on his training and experience, he knows that vehicles will often travel slow and make numerous turns to avoid police contact. That's what he observed here, and so that's what prompted his suspicions. So based on these suspicions, Officer Constance initiates a traffic stop. And so I submitted a brief in response to Attorney Kimmick's motions. I cited a case, State versus Waldner. I think this case is very similar. In Waldner, the vehicle was traveling slowly at 12:30 a.m., paused at an intersection, and the operator dumped liquid out of a plastic cup. The court, in upholding reasonable suspicion for the stop, said, each fact in isolation might not create reasonable suspicion, but taken together, it did create reasonable suspicion. And notably, the court said, although many innocent explanations could be hypothesized as to the reason for Waldner's actions, a reasonable officer charged with enforcing the law cannot ignore the reasonable inference that they might also stem from unlawful behavior. And in State versus Post, which I also cited in my brief, the court specifically said that driving need not be illegal to give rise to reasonable suspicion. So given the officer's observations of the driving behavior and his suspicion of impaired driving, I think a reasonable officer in his position would have grounds to reasonably suspect that a traffic violation or an OWI violation had been committed. And so for those reasons, I believe the totality of the circumstances and the evidence today supports reasonable suspicion for the traffic stop. Before I move on, I do also want to mention the NHTSA manual that was testified to. That did indicate that one of the OWI driving detections is speeds at 10 miles or more under the speed limit. And so, I mean, that is something the officers are trained in, that comes directly from the NHTSA manual. And so that is consistent with Officer Constan's notation and belief that slow driving, or oddly slow driving as he phrased it, is something that could signal impaired driving. So from there we move on to the traffic stop being extended. So once the initial stop was made, Officer Constans observed specific and articulable factors that gave rise to reasonable suspicion to extend the traffic stop. Again, reasonable suspicion is the standard to extend traffic stops. He testified that he was already suspicious of impaired driving at the time he made the traffic stop. From there, he observed the red glossy eyes. He observed Mr. Keeman be slow to answer or respond to questions. And then Mr. Keeman admitted to consuming alcohol at a golf course during a reunion trip with friends. These are specific, articulable facts that warranted the extension of the traffic stop. Again, the standard is reasonable suspicion. It's not probable cause or beyond any reasonable doubt. And so, given the articulable facts that he was able to observe, given the driving behavior, given his suspicions, I believe Officer Constans had reasonable suspicion to extend the traffic stop to conduct an OWI investigation. And so, for those reasons, I believe the testimony supports the city's position, and I'd respectfully request that the defendant's motions are denied. Thank you.
Thank you. Commander.
John, one thing we tend to forget about in traffic cases is it involves the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution of the United States. And I'm not saying in this case, but I've seen many prosecutors, gloss over this, and they forget that this is a basic right in this country to be free of unreasonable searches and seizures. So I would ask the court to keep that in mind first. The thing that's striking in this case is that in all the driving that Officer Constans observed over this time period of the vehicle stopping, starting again, driving in this kind of circular back to the first place he saw him, ultimately leading over to the stop, there is no ordinance law broken, no traffic ordinance broken. And when you look at the officer's training, NHTSA training, I mean, there's 24 different possibilities that they're trained to look for. And of that 24, the only thing that the city can provide here is driving slowly. I had a great uncle, Ben, who drove slow every single time he drove. I mean, there would have been probable cause to pull him over every time I got in a car with him because he drove 10 miles per hour under. So if you look and you think about, first of all, pulling over temporarily behind the officer in a legal parking space in a residential area is absolutely zero suspicion. And if you look at public policy and the law and the inattentive driving law, I put in as an exhibit, that's what we want people to do. If they are texting, if they are emailing, if they are punching data into a navigational app, we want you to pull over and do that. We don't want you doing it on a road. That's illegal and against the law, and it's dangerous. And the evidence in this case seems to show that that's exactly what he did. He was having trouble finding his hotel. The name had changed on the hotel. I think the inference from the evidence is he pulled over to punch in his information into his Siri to try to get back to this hotel he was at. When he pulls out, I mean, and the officer, Constance says, odd speed, odd manner, odd slowly. I mean, the law isn't what this officer or any other officer says is odd. It's specific, articulable reasons for actions and stops. I mean, I don't know, you know, if odd is his legal standard, I don't know how to drive out of here and go back to Kenosha today, because I don't know what odd is. Odd doesn't have any legal meaning. So he pulls out, there's no traffic coming, doesn't obstruct anybody, doesn't cut anybody off. And Officer Constance starts following him, runs him immediately, finds out he's from Kenosha. It's still America, you can drive around the streets at night. You don't need a reason to be down a certain street. But wouldn't the inference be maybe this person is like trying to find somewhere and having some difficulty, which interestingly enough turns out to be exactly what the evidence in this case shows. But all the time that he follows him, all the time of the 24 possible things that he's trained to look for, all the turns, all of the lane changing, everything, there's nothing illegal at all done, nothing suspicious done. There's no reasonable suspicion, there's no articulable reason to pull him over based on these 24 things they look for in their training. The video that does show the last going up the ramp on Highway 23, I mean, he's going up the ramp, he's increasing speed, he gets on the 25, he's still increasing his speed, and of course you're not gonna get up to 65 when you're turning a couple of blocks later. And he uses his turn signals. There's nothing at all in those other 24 factors outside of arguably his speed that gives any reasonable suspicion or probable cause that Mr. Keeman was violating the law. Pulls over perfectly fine. Goes and has a conversation with him. Actually finds out that he's having navigation trouble. He's having trouble with finding his place. He's using Siri. Siri's running him around. I would say that's a common experience. I don't know what's happened to you. I know it's happened to me, where I've punched in directions and I've got turned around and had to spin around. I don't see any slurred speech in this case. I don't really see the delay in speaking with Mr. Keeman, and he doesn't know how he normally speaks. He spent the whole day on a golf course. He's a 7-year-old guy. You speak different when you're tired. I speak slowly when I'm tired. But again, the conversations he has with him as far as getting his driver's license, answering the questions that's being asked to him, is not indicative that he is impaired or under the influence. The glassy eyes, for 30 years I've been asking police officers, what's the science to it? There is no science to it. There's so many different things that can affect your eyes and the way they look. And the way our eyes look, one person's eyes look during the course of the day, I think it's almost meaningless. Again, there's no science to it. There's nothing in NHTSA's science in their training to have that. There's no odor of alcohol, which I would submit 95% of the DUI cases I do include some type of odor of alcohol in a police report. It's not present here. You do have an admission to drinking, but again, they're vague. I think the video says he had a couple of drinks. Started way back when, couldn't even tell you way back when he stopped. It's not illegal to have a drink and drive a car in Wisconsin. And I think what's telling in this case, especially when it comes to the stop, is when Officer Constance goes back to his car, speaks with his partner and says, he's pissed drunk, he's drunk. I'm glad he's drunk because I was worried, basically I was worried about the reason why I stopped him. That's the crux of the case, in the officer's own words. But then, and then he's drawn a conclusion that he was drunk before he even puts him through field sobriety tests. And if you're forming that opinion, then based on the observations you made so far, you shouldn't be, because that's why you have field sobriety tests, is to go through what you're trained to do, determine if or not you should put a person, determine your opinion if that person's impaired or not, and then make an arrest decision. But that decision was made in a squad car after about you can look at the timing of it, probably a minute and a half of speaking with my client. So I think the stop is the biggest problem. He did not commit any traffic violations. Again, one or arguably two of the 24 factors you're trained to look for. And if you look at the totality of the circumstances in this case, I do not believe that this is a good traffic stop. I would ask that you grant that motion to suppress.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So again, we have the testimony of Officer Constance that on October 4th, 2025, at approximately 11:43 p.m., he was parked on Western Avenue in the city of Plymouth facing east, and a vehicle approached traveling east, and the testimony was the vehicle was traveling oddly slow, pulled up behind officer's vehicle for a period of time, pulled back into traffic, took a right-hand turn, and essentially through side streets looped back around to Western Avenue and headed back excuse me, west, and followed the roadway onto the on-ramp of Highway 23. We saw the video of the vehicle on the on-ramp. The speed reaches approximately 50 miles an hour, and then exits south on the first exit. And took an exit onto NS Court, where the defendant was then pulled over. So I'm going to address the reasonableness of the stop. And again, during the there wasn't the testimony was there wasn't of the officer that there wasn't any sort of bad driving or driving over the center line. The testimony was that as far as in the city driving, it was under 25, but now a real approximate number of exactly what that speed limit was, or the speed was. And then we did see the clip again of reaching approximately 45 to 50, and then quickly exiting. So as far as reasonable suspicion is a low bar, as stated in State v. Nimmer. It requires less certainty than probable cause, which is under State v. Easton, 2001, Wisconsin 98. But it must be based on more than an officer's inchoate or unparticularized suspicion or hunch, which is under State v. Post. And again, I did receive both parties' briefs and reviewed those briefs. And under State v. Post, the officer must be able to point to specific and articulable facts which, taken together with rational inferences, reasonably warrant an intrusive stop. Whether the facts warrant a reasonable officer in light of training or experience to suspect that something, a crime was committed or is being committed, or is about to commit a crime. The driving need not be illegal in order to give rise to reasonable suspicion. And again, the totality of circumstances, the officer reasonably suspects a crime or traffic violation has been committed under Popke. Again, seeing the video of the officer, I think, you know, his own admission that he was on the fence about pulling the defendant over. There was nothing more than slow driving. The on-ramp, I guess I'll address it from the stop backwards. The on-ramp driving, it seemed to me that it was appropriate. He reaches at least 50 miles an hour and is immediately exiting. It was, to me, completely appropriate. So I don't, that factor, I'm not sure. The driving in the city, which was oddly slow, we're just not exactly sure it was under 25 miles an hour. I don't see that the looping onto Park Street, down the side streets, and back on the Western Avenue is in any way evasive. I think a lot of times when you have these scenarios, it's somebody who's trying to avoid a police officer or lose them or something along those lines. Here it was really just looping back on the Western Avenue and driving past where he had previously been parked, continues back onto the on-ramp and gets onto the highway and exits the first exit. And so I in reviewing all of those factors, I think it's a real close case as far as the reasonable suspicion for the stop. And again, when we're looking at some of the case law, if you're looking at the totality of the circumstances, I don't think that there's enough there based on the observations, and again based on the video of the testimony, but the officer on that night saying he's really on the fence, that there was nothing more than slow driving. So for those reasons, when it's a case like this and it's very close, I tend to favor the defendant, and so for those reasons I'll grant the motion to suppress.
Okay, so at this point then I would move to dismiss the OWI and TAC citations.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Iris. Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
How long have you been doing this?
More than 20 years.
Are you an attorney?
Yeah. Private practice in Plymouth here, general practice.
Wasn't sure. Yeah, I don't know if you ever met Mike Langle from Municipal.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, he was our judge for like 20 years, and we have Dick Jankowski, I'm sure you know.
Yeah, yes, yes.
Well, I had a battle in the DA's office for decades. And then Bruce from Twin Lakes.
Yep, I know Bruce. Dick fills up my inbox with, he's toned it down a little after.
Yeah, I think he's slowing down.
He got the hint after he first got elected, and everybody's like, okay, that's enough.
Yeah, Dick, he could talk your ear. I did one of these speeding trials in front of him in Pleasant Prairie, and I mean, he pontificated for an hour after it. And then found my guy guilty. And I was just like, if I'm gonna get my guy, just please do it quick. Anyhow, he's been a long, he's one of the first guys I met when I first got there. Very cool guy, but
Yeah,
very knowledgeable and very not afraid to share his knowledge.
Yeah, I mean, he does a good job with the Municipal Judges Association.
I'll call him with questions sometimes, you know.
Step out for 5 minutes.
Thank you, officer.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Mr.
you.
Chairman, thank you.
Be careful out there, okay?
You as well, thanks.